Soul fam. Welcome back to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. I am Max Soul.
And I'm Mello Soul.
And this is episode 20.
Woo!
Yoo-ha.
20.
Yeah, 20. We are thrilled you're joining us on this journey through the legacies of the titans who shaped the very sound of soul music.
That's right, Max. And today we're diving deep into the world, into the world of an artist so singular, so powerful that she remains an almost mythical figure in music history.
Right.
We're talking about the incomparable Nina Simone, the high priestess of soul. But as you'll hear today, that title barely scratches the surface of her genius.
Oh, absolutely true, Mello. Nina Simone wasn't just a singer or a pianist. She was a force of nature, a classical prodigy who bent genres to her will, and a fierce activist whose music became the soundtrack of a revolution, and an artist who, above all, she refused to compromise her truth.
Absolutely. Her story is a masterclass for any aspiring artist today in R&B, soul, or any genre, really. Yeah, it's about integrity, the power of artistic conviction, and the often rocky path of pursuing your art on your own terms.
On your own terms. That's a pretty big statement.
Well, today we're going to explore how her lessons in authenticity, classical influence, and fierce independence resonate deeply with what artists today are trying to achieve with their goals in a crowded and ever-evolving music landscape.
That's right. So settle in as we unpack the profound impact of Nina Simone, an architect who didn't just build, but reshape the very foundations of soul. Going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to start our deep dive.
That's right, Max. So stay where you are, and this is going to be enlightening.
You're listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. Don't go nowhere. Hey, welcome back to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. Before we go any further, if you like this content,
yes, if it resonates with you,
or informs you, maybe learning something you didn't know before, well then please give us a like and a subscribe to our channel. Your support would mean the world to us and helps us keep these stories alive.
Thanks for that, Max. Now let's talk about Nina Simone's origin and her story. Because it's full of powerful lessons.
Yes, amazing lessons.
So Nina didn't start out as Nina.
No?
No, she was born Eunice Wayman, and she was a classical piano prodigy from a very young age. And her dream, Max?
What?
Her dream was to be the first black concert pianist.
Well, that's a pretty tall order, isn't it?
Yeah. It was around 1951 or so by then.
Right, yeah. Anyway, she was incredibly talented. Don't get me wrong. She was incredibly talented for her age. But she was also a very proud child, and this is the cool part. She sensed the injustices of racism at the time, and again, we're talking in the early 50s.
Mm-hmm. And she confronted it too, Max.
Oh, that's right, no. And she was just 12. I love this story.
She sure did, Max. She must have been off the charts ability-wise.
I would imagine.
She was playing a recital, and it seems that her parents sat down in the audience as close to the front as they could get.
Like any good parent, Mello, and just like any good parent, they got the front row.
Yeah. And of course, that unfortunately for the time, they moved the parents to the back.
Yeah, now what's that all about? Well, so here's where the warrior started showing her strength early, Mello. And this is so cool because she insisted her parents be brought back to the front row before she would play. Mm-hmm. That's some tough girl.
Yeah.
And this early experience with racism profoundly shaped her.
It did, Max. And she had only begun to see the injustice, but believed that she could overcome it.
Yeah, dare to dream, Mello. Belief is everything.
Yes, and her aspiration was to attend the prestigious Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia. So she spent a summer-to-summer program at Juilliard School in New York.
Yeah, and that could not have been a joke.
No. And then starting in 1950 to prepare for the audition for the Curtis Institute, pushing her envelope for this opportunity.
Yeah, those year programs really do teach you a lot. As I was just making a comment about that before, I did a summer to summer when I was young. After getting my BA in music, I went out to study guitar at GIT, which they call the Musicians Institute now in LA. And I started in August and finished in August of the next year. And they really, really busted my ass with stuff. So I can imagine what they did with her. And I know she really wanted to be ready for her audition. Her big dream, right? This was her big dream. But in the end, she got denied admission, right, to I guess around 1951, because she did the Juilliard in 50. But she always felt like that this rejection was based on her color, and that dramatically altered her path.
Dramatically is right. She felt judged on her race rather than her talent. So then her path had a major shift.
And what a shift it was, right?
Yeah. After the rejection, she stayed in the Philadelphia area, teaching piano and taking private lessons with the Curtis professor to continue her classical training.
Right. See, she was so devoted to the classical training, even though she missed out on what she wanted more than anything.
Mm-hmm. But now the need for work leading her to focus on jazz and popular music.
Yeah.
And that's when she started playing clubs in Atlantic
That's exactly
City.
right. And that's where she began singing in a Jersey nightclub in 1954, because the owner threatened that he was going to fire her if she didn't add vocals to her piano act. And that launched her accidental singing career.
And then, Max, she adopted the stage name Nina Simone in 1954. And she was off, but she was also off the radar.
Yes, she was off the radar, Mel. She did that because she feared her mother, who was a Methodist minister, would disapprove of her working in a nightclub. So Nina was a nickname from a former boyfriend, and Simone was after the French actress Simone Signoret. And because Mommy didn't know, nor anybody else in her family apparently, she had to hoof it alone.
That's a tough choice, Max. Hiding what she did, which really meant she didn't know who to talk to, and she had nobody to mentor her into making the right decision.
Exactly, Mello. And this leads us to one of the most sobering lessons for every artist and any artist today, and that's the business side of music. In 1957, she recorded her debut album, Little Girl Blue, reportedly in a mammoth 13 to 14-hour session. And the last song recorded was a song called My Baby Just Cares For Me, which is my absolute favorite Nina Simone song, featuring a trio where Nina provided both the vocals and the piano accompaniment.
That's right, Max. And she was backed by Jimmy Bond on bass, Albert Tootie Heath on drums.
I grew up listening to the Heath family. Right? A lot of great music out of Philly. Jimmy and Percy Heath, killer jazz writers, arrangers, and players. I used to go see them all the time. Anyway, getting back to Nina and Little Girl Blue, the distinctive classically infected jazz piano on that record is one of the key elements of that signature sound that she has.
Of course, Max. That produced her huge hit. The last song recorded was My Baby Just Cares For Me, like you said.
Right. It was.
I didn't realize until today, though, that was her biggest hit.
Yeah, which in all these years I've listened to it, I didn't realize that she played piano on it. And
I knew that part.
It blows my mind, but now I love it even more. I mean, here's the kicker, right? That album, Little Girl Blue, recorded and released by Bethlehem Records in 1959, Mello, sadly and most likely unknowingly, Nina sold the rights to the masters to the entire album to Bethlehem for a single one-time payment of $3,000. This is the lesson, kids. That would be the equivalent of about $33,000 today.
Think about that.
Yeah, think about how much she made.
That's all she got for that song. That song has been re-released a few times and remixed and everything else.
That's right. In 1957, when she recorded that album, Nina was still in her mid-20s, new to the professional recording industry, and, she was primarily focused on earning money to continue her dream of becoming the first black classical concert pianist. She still wanted that.
Yeah, and that's true. And she viewed her nightclub singing and this first recording session as a musical detour dictated by financial necessity.
Yeah.
It must go without saying that her agent, a guy named Jerry Fields, who connected her with Bethlehem Records, sketchy.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Mello, a guy who really obviously looked out for her best interest and the interest of his clients, right? No, not really. Seems old Jerry here, he negotiated the final agreement to have been a complete sale of her rights, and yep, you guessed it, a complete buyout rather than the standard royalty agreement. This was a devastating, life-altering outcome for a young, unadvised artist.
And there's the lesson, folks, about mentors and masters right here.
Right there.
In essence, the deal was simply for the payment of $3,000 for Nina to record the album like a work-for-hire situation. The contract was a complete transfer of the master recordings and publishing rights to the label.
Right. That's a shit show, Mello. Part of me wonders exactly just how much Jerry might have gotten under the table. I don't know. If I have an agent and he's not looking out for me, I'm not signing nothing. No matter what he shows me, I want to know. But, of course, this is hindsight on my part. But her lack of legal and business experience in the jazz pop world and no one to advise her because she was hiding it. And again, she really just wanted to be a concert pianist, and she did this for money. Well, it's just not a good formula.
Yeah, desperation. It's never a good strategy.
No, it's not.
But all this coupled with her immediate need for money was what led her
down to, right?
That's what led to her unknowingly signing this contract that relinquished all future financial interest in the album, including her most famous song, the one we just mentioned, My Baby Just Cares For Me.
That's right, Mello. She later estimated that the contract oversight cost her over $1 million in royalties. 1970s. This isn't just an old anecdote, it's a stark warning. In an era where artists have more direct access to their audience, but also face complex streaming and distribution deals, understanding your contracts and protecting your intellectual property is paramount. Artists like Nina and many, many others, they learn this the hard way.
Absolutely. Her experience underscores the critical need for mentorship, for trusted advisors, and for educated decision-making when it comes to, legal and financial aspects of your career. It's not just about the music, it's about owning your future.
You better believe it. And that early business struggle fuels a lifelong distrust of the industry for Nina, impacting how she navigated her career, which is another powerful reminder that the creative fire burns bright, right? Protecting that fire also requires a sharp business acumen. And, like I said, if Jerry had only been on her side, right, whatever he did, right, he didn't do it for her. But if he had given her that little bit, who knows what happened for her.
Exactly.
Sad thing.
Well, we've been talking Nina Simone, and we'll be right back to talk about how her uncompromising artistic integrity shaped her music.
That's right. You're with Max and Mello's Architects of Soul, and we'll be right back.
Don't go away. Hey, welcome back to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. In this segment, we're exploring how Nina Simone's unique musical background profoundly shaped her sound and ultimately soul music itself.
No doubt, Mello, and vowing never to be taken again, I'll bet. So she moved to Colpix Records in 1959. And her contract reportedly gave her complete artistic control over the material she recorded, which was unheard of at the time.
Unheard of, yeah.
1959, right? It's not about the 60s or the 70s.
No,
it's just before
50s,
that.
yeah.
Exactly. And this allowed her to record a range of styles. Here, unrestrained, her classical training was foundational. She wasn't just dabbling in Bach. She was immersed in it. And she brought that discipline, that precision, and that harmonic complexity right into her jazz, blues, and gospel interpretations. She could take a traditional folk song and infuse it with classical piano runs and sing it with the raw emotion of the blues.
It's what made her so distinctive. She blurred lines before blurring lines was cool.
And we know all about blurring lines because that's a big
That's what
part
we do,
of what
yeah.
we do.
She didn't fit into a neat box. She resented being pigeonholed as just a jazz singer.
No, she didn't like that.
Yeah, she saw herself as a folk singer,
An artist.
an interpreter. And this genre-bending approach is incredibly relevant for modern R&B and soul artists.
Oh, absolutely, Mel. Absolutely. Today we see artists effortlessly blending R&B with electronic elements, hip-hop beats, gospel harmonies, soulful vocals over indie rock instrumentations.
Right.
I mean, everything. But Nina Simone was doing this decades ago. And her refusal to be confined teaches us that our influences don't have to be restrictive. They can be expansive. Embrace your entire musical vocabulary.
Think about how artists today are layering intricate vocal arrangements with unexpected instrumental textures. That's direct lineage to someone like Nina, who would incorporate a fugue-like piano passage into a pop standard. And, she also showed that formal training doesn't stifle creativity.
No, she was actually empowering it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she was giving you more tools. It gives you more tools in your creative arsenal.
Her artistry challenges current artists to dig deeper into their own diverse influences, which I love because that's where we all come from, finding where we came from. Don't be afraid to pull from the opera or world music or even elemental or even experimental electronica and fuse it with your core soul sound. That's how new sounds are born. And that's how you carve out a truly unique voice, just like Nina did.
That's a great point, Max. And speaking of points, we're pointing ourselves to a quick break. We'll be right back to discuss how Nina Simone used her powerful voice, not just for music, but for activism and change.
Yeah, call it.
Yeah, you're listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul.
Keep it locked, and we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning into Architects of Soul. Our music is waiting for you. Hey, what's up, Soul fam? You're in the middle of listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. We are talking Nina Simone. Now, Mello, let's dive into a crucial aspect of Nina's legacy, her role as an uncompromising activist and performer.
Now, this is where Nina truly embodies the high priestess moniker.
She is a badass.
Oh, yeah. Now, she believed famously that an artist's duty is to reflect the times.
Hell yes.
And so that was a quote from her. And she, for her, this wasn't an option.
No,
it was an obligation, really. Her songs such as Mississippi Goddam, which is a furious response to the murder of Medgar Evers, and the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing with, the 3 little girls
yes, I
were
do.
killed.
I remember.
4 Women, unflinching commentaries on racial injustice and black identity.
She was hardcore.
Yeah. They weren't just tracks.
Right?
No. They were raw, unfiltered cries against racial injustice, and her music was a powerful vehicle for the civil rights movement.
The story about her writing that song is really interesting, actually.
So share what made me partake of this knowledge.
Yea, verily, I shall. Truly, though, Mello, seriously, this is a wild way to get you to write, okay? I mean, I get it. She was so enraged that she literally tried to make a zip gun. A homemade pistol, for those who don't know what that means, right, from tools and scrap in her garage. I mean, obviously failing mightily. And after calming down some, she decided she'd sit down at her piano. And she said in an hour she produced the song. She said it came to her in a rush of fury, hatred, and determination. And let me tell you, the whole music industry, they did not embrace it.
Well, the title alone would have kept it from getting a lot of airplay.
No shit.
Back then, especially. Now you can maybe get away with it.
Well, it was banned.
Yeah. The protest was banned throughout the South, and a North Carolina radio station famously smashed promotional copies.
Sledgehammers and smashed the shit out of those.
And then
records.
they mailed the pieces of it back to Phillips Records, which is her label. Simone was unapologetic, though.
Yes.
She was saying the song was like throwing 10 bullets back at them.
Yeah, Nina was unflinching, Mello. She did not fuck around. She was using her platform, her voice, and her undeniable talent to speak truth to power. This teaches every artist today the profound impact that their voices can have. She famously performed Mississippi Goddam at a concert in New York on April 7th, 1968, 3 days after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a fact, Max. During the performance, she expressed her rage and grief, famously declaring, "I ain't bound to be nonviolent."
Yeah, right? Oh, yeah. And she was...
Before breaking into laughter.
Right.
And
She was serious, but she wasn't.
Yeah, the audience was applauding and laughing along nervously, though.
Yeah, but it's amazing. And when you think of so let's take another song. So the song "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black," which is a 1970 civil rights anthem, which was written in memory of her deceased friend Lorraine Hansberry. Was noted as a departure, though, from what she usually did. She usually wrote songs of anger, and instead this was a very joyous celebration of black youth. So you got to give it to her. She definitely had attitude and style.
Indeed, Max. In an age of social media and global connectivity, artists have an unprecedented ability to speak out on issues that they care about. Nina's example challenges us to ask, what are we saying with our art?
Right.
Are we merely entertaining, or are we contributing to conversations, sparking thought, or giving voice to the voiceless?
Yes, giving voice to the voiceless. But she also didn't, she didn't brook no shit. So her live performances were legendary for her intensity and at times their volatility. So she demanded respect and attention, often stopping shows down to chastising an attentive audience. This wasn't just ego, though. It was just an uncompromising commitment to her art and her message. She really believed her art deserved full engagement, and she wasn't afraid to enforce that. And that is also that classical person idea that, classical music, you must listen to it, right? Which I understand that. I get that. I'm cool with that.
Well, that ties back to her business struggles. Her refusal to compromise often put her at odds with labels and promoters, leading to more disputes over control and compensation.
Right.
But for Nina, integrity wasn't negotiable. It was, this is a tough lesson for emerging artists today, balancing artistic vision with the commercial realities.
Oh, no doubt, Mello. Her career was certainly known for its turbulence, to say the least. She gained a reputation for throwing those onstage tantrums and scolding those inattentive audiences. I love that. We would never do that, of course. And we who have played in clubs and halls know that one, right? To tell people, hey, the show is up here.
Hello.
Right?
Over here. Put away your camera.
Hey, come on, stop talking. We're playing. We're singing. No, this is not it.
That's right, Max. This behavior is often stemmed from deep-seated frustration with commercialism and fiercely uncompromising artistic integrity, as she felt her deep desire to communicate was being ignored.
In other words, y'all, you ain't paying no attention to me, right? I'm up here I'm working here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working over here.
Like, hello, McFly.
Right.
It's frightening. It really is. It's quite a unique take to have in a club, Mello, right? But she approached her nightclub performances with that seriousness of a classical pianist, as I was saying before. She really did expect patrons to pay attention. She would often stop playing and stare resentfully at noisy talking audiences until she achieved total silence, stating, I expect and deserve respect. Man, that's some shit, right? With Nina Simone, it was about finding that sweet spot, or in her case, sometimes refusing to find it at all. See, her legacy tells artists to fiercely protect your artistic vision and not be swayed by trends or commercial pressures if it means sacrificing your unique voice. I mean, that's not always easy, but it's how you build an enduring legacy. And it doesn't mean your choice always works out the way you wanted it to. Don't get me wrong. In fact, in the early 1980s, she got offered a contract by Motown Records, which she turned down because she felt like the label wouldn't give her enough creative control.
And that was probably a really good idea.
Which possibly could have been if Barry asked Nina in the 70s, Barry was not the kind of person to give up anything.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. So
that would have been the wrong label for her.
Oh my God! But it's an interesting. You got to admit, it would have been a monumental thing if they'd tried it. But it's an interesting thought.
Maybe one album, but I just don't see them, because remember, she was really, really independent. Barry Gordy was
Barry Gordy was a hard ass.
Yeah,
and he didn't like anybody taking. He spread his musicians around thin, and he wasn't giving them nothing if he didn't have to.
Yeah, he could have gone either way, I think. She was obviously stubborn, and we know Barry was definitely stubborn.
It would have been a real explosion, but it would have been great to see.
Oh, well, thoughts for another day. Anyway,
exactly.
So before we head to our final segment, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying our content,
yes, please
give us a like and subscribe. It truly helps. Yeah, it helps us bring these stories to you.
And we're grateful to have you along for the ride. We truly are. Also remember, we have a video version of this podcast on our YouTube page. So if you feel like watching and are game to get some extra content, it's there for you. Otherwise, sit back and listen as usual. Any way you do it, we are really grateful. So listen, stick around. When we come back, we'll put a bow on it. And
you're listening to Max and Mello's Architect of Soul.
And we'll be right back with our final thoughts on Nina Simone.
Don't go away.
And we are back with you on Architects of Soul, putting a cherry on top of the artist. That was Nina Simone. So, Mello, what are some of the takeaways from the High Priestess of Soul?
Well, Max, her journey provides such a rich tapestry of lessons for artists today.
Yeah, she got a lot of depth and breadth.
From her classical roots influencing her genre-defying sound to her fierce activism and her struggles with the music industry, Nina Simone's life was a testament to uncompromising artistic integrity.
You got to have a lot of integrity to have done what she did. Absolutely. And for any artist creating R&B and soul or whatever new vibe you're crafting today, Nina Simone's legacy reminds us to embrace all your influences, no matter how disparate they are. Don't let genre labels define you. Let your unique musical history inform your future.
That is as true as it could be, Max. And perhaps most profoundly, she teaches us the power of using your voice not just to entertain, but to enlighten, to challenge, and to reflect the world around you.
Now, she was a tough one.
She wasn't afraid to be polarizing if it meant being true to herself.
No, that's... To thine own self be true could definitely have been put on her tombstone.
That courage is timeless.
Yes, but her story is also a cautionary tale about the business of music. And it's why we talk about this. Learn your contracts, understand your rights, and seek out wise counsel. Artistic freedom is meaningless if you don't own the fruits of your own labor.
No, that's right, Max.
It's true.
Her impact on soul music and indeed contemporary music is undeniable.
Yes, she paved the way.
paved the way for artists like us to be complex.
Better believe it.
Yeah, to be complex
And to be
political and vulnerable. And
all
to
at
be
once.
absolutely brilliant all at once.
Yeah.
And she showed us that a true artist is, as she suggested, an architect of culture and consciousness.
And we love that. And with that profound statement, we just want to leave you with what we always do with this every time. This is our maxim. It's most important to us, and we truly mean it.
Yes, keep that soul fire burning, protect your sound, nurture your creativity, own your voice, and remember the lessons from the giants who came before.
And yes, protect your masters and seek out wise mentors who can guide you on your journey. And until next we meet, peace and soul, y'all.